Hello and welcome to A Sister's Back. Thank you for tuning in. I'm here. My name is Ropa, and with me is my co-host
Carnation.
It's funny. The last time we did this, when you said my co-host, and then the video cut a little bit, so I didn't get to say. Well, I didn't get to say my name. It wasn't audible, so it was kind of like, oh, it was really Ropa. So I'm like, maybe I should mention my name twice just so that people know it's Ropa. Yeah, so today is a really cool topic that we're discussing. We're going to discuss a show. What are we discussing today, Carnation?
So there's this show that's trending on Netflix right now, and it's called The Ultimatum. And actually, I started watching it because Ropa, you suggested it, and unfortunately, I started watching it. I think I started watching it just before 10 p.m. And once you have those, packaged whatever shows, obviously I was still on the couch by 1 a.m. and I needed to go to work. But yeah, so I watched that. So Ultimatum. So what it is essentially, there actually, how many couples were they? Were they 5? Are they 5 or 6 couples?
I think there were about 6 couples.
There were 6 couples, so ranging in age from early 20s, the youngest.
To mid-30s, I'm going to say.
Yeah, to about 30, actually early 30s. And so they came on this show because one party, one of the partners in the coupling had decided to give an ultimatum. And this ultimatum is related to settling down because they've been together for a while, right? And curiously enough, I think, actually,
marry me or I walk.
Yeah, marry me or I walk. And I think when we think of that mantra, it's usually women, right? If you like what you see, put a ring on it. So there were 5 women that issued an ultimatum, but and only one guy who issued an ultimatum. Actually, no, there were 2 guys, right?
Because two guys issued 4 women, 2 guys. But anyway, essentially, so what this show is that it takes these couples that have given each other, one of them in the couple has given an ultimatum. And then they give them a chance to, take a look at the relationship and date other couples, date other people to see if you will appreciate the one that you have, or you're going to realize that this person is not the one anymore. Then, you either walk away or you either stay. So the first 3 weeks, the first 2 days, actually, I think
when they arrive,
maybe the first few days they date the other couples that are in there. They get to talk to each other, on an individual basis. And then after that, then they select who they want to stay with as a, pretend mock marriage for 3 weeks. Then after that, they go back to their original partner for another 3 weeks for a mock marriage type of thing. And then after that, then you get to decide, who you want. Do you want to stay with the one that you originally came on the show with, or do you want to move on and find somebody else, or, are you going to answer the ultimatum? So that's the end of the show. Are you answering the ultimatum? Are you saying yes, or are you saying no?
Are you saying no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so of those, I guess, there were 6 couples, and their situations obviously were as different as the couples were. So there was one couple, and the reason why, I'll start with the guys. So the 2 guys, so there's one, I guess, who issued the ultimatum because he wanted to settle down, but he also wanted kids. But his girlfriend did not want kids. So I'm wondering, why would you issue an ultimatum if someone says they don't want kids?
Well, because he wanted to get married and he wanted to have kids. He wanted to start his family. He was
But then why don't you just leave, though? If someone says, I don't want to have kids, why are you giving them an ultimatum? Because that's the thing, though, because I've been in this situation. You can't having kids is not something you can dangle as, okay, it's either we have kids or I leave. I think both reasons for wanting a kid or for wanting one are very strong, right?
Yes, so, but it's not like she did not want to have kids. Are we talking about Madeline, right?
Yeah. No, not Madeline. And the other one. The other one. The one who didn't want to have kids.
Or Lauren, or whatever her name is.
Lauren, yeah, Lauren. Yes, yeah. Lauren. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I think there I totally agree with you. She did not want to have kids. Madeline did not want to have a family, did not want to get married yet. She was open to the idea of having kids and all that, but she didn't want to get married to him, she thought.
So maybe let's go down the couples then. Okay,
so let's start with the one that did not even want to have kids.
Okay. So the one that didn't want to have kids, what was her name, by the way?
I think it's Lauren.
Oh, yeah, Lauren. Yeah. So Lauren didn't want to have kids, but her partner wanted to have kids. So he issued the ultimatum. And the hope was that he's the one who issued the ultimatum, right? He
issued the ultimatum. And I think in issuing the ultimatum, he thought that ultimatum will force her to want kids and to want the relationship if he dangled the fact that, oh, if you don't want to have kids, you're going to lose me.
Then I'm out, right? And then there was Madeline, and there's no way I can forget Colby, because Colby was, yeah, he had his, quirks like all of us. But what I admired about him was he was so sure about Madeline. Like he said, you know what, I saw Madeline walking into a bar. I don't know what he was doing, whether he was DJing or something that he was doing or working in that bar. And he said, the moment I saw her, it was love at first sight. And I knew that she was going to be my wife. And so with him, they'd been together for 1.5 years and they were fairly young. I think, 25, like early.
Yeah, 24, 25.
24, 25. And he wanted to settle down. And, as he talked about his background more, he said that both his parents had been married for a really long time and they had a wonderful marriage. And all he wanted was to marry the love of his life, settle down and have kids. And Colby, like, I don't know if you agree, Ropa, but Colby is smoking hot. Like a guy, at that age, at least to me, he's a very attractive guy. And, knowing what he wants and, wanting to settle down with Madeline, I thought it was really admirable. We won't talk about, I'm not talking about his quirks, but
wait.
Yeah.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
We forgot to say something initially in the beginning. Spoiler alert. If you have not watched the ultimatum, please switch it off. Switch off, go watch it, and then you can come back if you want. Or if you don't mind spoilers, then this is the place to be. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess what I wanted to say is just watching Colby's love for Madeline. Human love is not perfect, but there is love that, you can admire. That's how it feels like when a man really wants you. I know that probably he wasn't completely, how do I say this?
Let
things came up.
My question, the reason why I doubted him.
Yeah.
Reason why I doubted him. He did not try with, what's her name? Is it Jessica?
Who did he wind up with? Okay, April?
April. He did not try with April, but he used this whole situation as a card, as a whole pass to go and mix and mingle with other women outside of the experiment. I have an issue with that. And then he had the audacity to lie about it. And to lie and to lie and to lie and to twist and mix and mingle the truth. There's a problem. Anything else, he did show that he wanted to be with her. He did show, and he ended up like marrying her and all that good stuff. But that part of his character, to me, that would have been like, cut off. I'm done. I can't deal with this.
You can't deal with that. Okay, so so with Colby, that's what I'm saying, that there are things that he did obviously that I frown upon. But what I'm trying to say though is that Madeline was not trying to convince him that, marry me, you know, I want you, I'm the best pick for you. He made mistakes, I agree. And you know what, those mistakes were catastrophic, and perhaps Madeline should have left. But what I'm saying,
his shortcomings, that's why she didn't want to marry him at that time.
At that time, that he has some growing up to do. But still, let's not, how do I say this? Let's not overshadow the point that I'm trying to make, that there's no, it's a wonderful feeling to be with a man who is sure about you, you know, who wants to settle down, who you don't have to give ultimatums or how do I say this, be dramatic for him to want to settle down with you. What Colby kept on saying was, yes, I guess his love for Madeline wasn't perfect, but he knew that 100% he wanted Madeline, right? And even I remember when they got reunited, for him, it wasn't a dread that, oh, I'm back with her. He was so happy, right? That, you know, Maddie is back, right? But anyway, there were other couples. I guess maybe I kind of zeroed in on that one because it made an impression on me. And then there were 4 others, right?
I still have issues with Colby, the way he handled himself. The better part of that whole show, he was very dodgy. But I get what you're saying in terms of, you know, a man being sure of you.
A man, so, yeah, go ahead with the dodgy. So I'll leave you to you know, to break down the dodgy aspect, right? Of,
well, I think I already did. Like, okay, so the whole point of the exercise, or the whole point of the show, was to try and get the people to see, or to try and get the people to participate wholeheartedly and give it a whole try, like your whole heart. And I don't think he did with April. Your whole heart, yeah. Well, try the best that you can without any reservations. He was supposed to have tried. Yes, no one chose him, and yes, no one chose April. He would have been chosen by that other girl before.
Lauren, yeah.
By Lauren before Nick. Is it Nick?
Proposed, yeah, to Lauren. Yeah.
Before Nick proposed. We're gonna talk about that whole situation, but when he realized that, oh, my girl has been chosen by somebody else, and I was going to choose another person, but that person has already been proposed to, okay, fine, I'm gonna just choose April. Because the way that he was talking, he's like, you know what, I've come here and I've decided I'm going to give it 100%. April, if you want to still be with, if you want to try it, let's try it. But he didn't really try with April. He was just trying to stay on the show, because his girl was on the show.
How should he have tried, though? Because that's another thing, though. I think we've talked about this as well.
He should have.
That, okay, he didn't want April. April showed interest in him. The only person he wanted was Lauren, right? Like, of all the girls there, that's the only one he sort of, you know, connected with. Yes. Remember that girl that he said to, you know, first of all, he said, no, I don't think we're a good match. And then she kept on insisting. And he said, I'm just not attracted to you, right? And so,
no, which is fair. He was honest on that one.
With April, he didn't have that feeling for her. And so he said, you know what, I'm going to stay in the experience. And they ended up developing a friendship, right? So how would you want him to try with someone he doesn't necessarily want or is attracted to?
So this whole thing was a pretend marriage.
Yeah.
So being a pretend marriage, you do what a husband does in a pretend marriage. I'm not saying have sex with the girl, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in a pretend marriage, you give consideration, you do everything that a man does, and then she does everything that a woman does within this marriage. They cook together, they did, which of course, yeah, they did. But he went out and sought another girl to do whatever he was supposed to have done, which ends up constituting, like, it's kind of, it constitutes.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
He went out of the program, which was not, it's almost like a loophole.
Like he broke the rules, right? And then he kept broke the rules. I wanted to make this real for you, Maddie. That's why I cheated. And she's
well, why didn't he make it real with April? Because she was there.
He just, to be honest, he just wasn't attracted to her. So he said, you know what, since Madeline has someone who who she's attracted to, I'm gonna go out and make the experience real for Madeline. That was so ridiculous, right? Like how
that's why I'm saying he was stupid. And that's why I kind of was not sold on his niceness and all this, right? But who was I going to talk about?
I think we have there's still other 4 couples.
We might not get to all of them, but Lauren, I don't think she should have said yes to Nick. She wasn't sold on the marriage thing, and I even doubt if she actually completely loves him.
You think so? Why?
I think, well, because first of all, when Colby was talking to her, she was starting to think, oh, maybe kids, because you were saying, oh, well, I think I can work with her to try and get her sold on the kids. And the reason why Lauren did not want to have kids with, what's his name, Nick, is because she didn't feel that he would be there. She would not feel, she didn't feel that she had the support. She did not feel secure with him. Because she mentioned, she said, well, he's busy all the time. I don't know if he's going to be there for the kids. I don't want to be stuck with a kid by myself after this person has put me in the family way.
So that was her reason. It's because she didn't feel like she would have support. Not necessarily because she didn't love, what's his name, Nick. And what I find, though,
I don't know if she didn't love him or not or whatever, but if you really, really love a person, you have to sit down and you compromise, unless if Nick didn't want to compromise.
Compromising on kids is dangerous because that's a lifetime commitment, right? You don't want someone saying, in the heat of the moment, oh, kids don't turn out the way, people expect. For someone to say, I didn't want these kids anyway, I did it for you, right? And if something goes wrong with the kid, right, we plan for perfection. What if you end up having a chronically ill? You don't want that burden of feeling like you pressured someone into having a kid because you won't have the support. But what I wanted to
if you don't want kids, compromising is bad. But
I don't think you can compromise on kids.
No, I gotta finish so that you get my point.
Okay.
So if you don't want kids, compromising is not good. But if you're open to having kids, but you're scared of the overall experience, you're scared of doing it by yourself, which is what Lauren indicated, then it was going to be up to Nick to compromise with her so that he can either say, okay, what are your worries? What are the things that you're afraid of? Okay, you're afraid that I won't be there. You're going to end up raising these kids by yourself. And you don't know if you want that responsibility, because raising kids is a great responsibility. And not everyone wants to do it by themselves. So had he compromised with her in that case, that's what I'm talking about, right? But if she did not want to have kids completely and he compromised and she ended up compromising, those kids would have been in trouble because she didn't want them.
She didn't want them.
But she was scared of doing it on her own, even though she had a man. That means she didn't feel secure. But anyway, you were gonna say, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, at the same time too, I think, there's this, if we've been friends for a really long time and I have developed certain blind spots with you where maybe you've been saying something to me for a long time, but I never seem to get it. It's either, how do I say this? It's either maybe I'm taking you for granted, or I don't know, I'm just blind to that thing that you've been saying for a really long time, which is why I was nervous with some of these, couples where they spend 3 weeks with someone. How does it feel at the beginning of a relationship with someone? We are all on our best behavior. It feels new. They feel, I guess they attend to every need that the other person is not meeting. But after being with someone for like 2.5 years, it's a marathon, right? And so if someone is coming in, that's why I'm thinking, well, for instance, Colby was able to listen to Lauren, not because he's a good listener, because we found out from Madeline that, you're saying Colby doesn't see me. I want him to love me for who I am. And that's important to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to pick up on Lauren because she was a shiny new object. It was fresh, it was new, right? But
Mm-hmm.
perhaps with Colby, we don't know what his background is in terms of work. He probably would have been perhaps more involved because he looks like the type of guy who loves being in love. Like
he's a family man.
Yeah, he's a family man. That's true. Yeah.
Where is Nick?
We don't know.
We will never know because he wasn't really on the show. He only popped in for 2 seconds, proposed to the girl because she was about to say yes. She was about to be asked by somebody else.
And all the women that he wanted
were taken.
Yeah. So the only woman that he wanted after that, was about to be taken. So he had to.
What's her name? The girl that he wanted. She ended up choosing Zay.
He wanted Shanique, but Shanique chose Zay.
Yeah.
And then his next pick was Madeline, but Madeline, I think, had been picked already.
Randall.
Yeah, had been picked by Randall. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I feel if he had gone with Shanique, I think him and Lauren would have been done probably. Depending on how the dynamic would have been with Shanique. But Shanique also had her issues.
Exhausting emotionally. Oh my goodness.
Shanique also had her issues. I think she was going through a lot.
I think so, yeah.
She was going through emotional turmoil. She could tell Randall was attracted to Madeline and Madeline was attracted to Randall, and her mind was going,
And she probably took it for granted that, okay, you know what, I'm bringing him to this show and he's going to make up his mind. That's the thing. I think that's also what I learned from that show is don't become so comfortable that you think you're the world.
Yeah. Right? You're the be-all end-all of his love.
If you push the boundaries hard enough, or you keep pushing that person in whatever way, there's someone out there who's going to meet their needs or do something that you're not. Because actually with Shanique, by her bringing Randall onto that whatever show, Randall actually ended up seeing that, you know what, there are other women that are more easygoing, right? You know what I mean?
And they broke up after like at the reunion, they broke up for 6 months and they only got it back together a month before the show or whatever it was. And she still didn't even get that ring. But her mindset has changed now around.
Well, he proposed before, like he
did propose, and then they broke up. She gave the ring back or whatever. And now when they got back together, they're just dating. They're not engaged. They're dating. So
and they're not in a rush as she was before.
They're not in a rush anymore because I think her mindset has opened up to so many other possibilities. And now she might be even asking the exact questions. One thing I liked about the whole show, where everybody was saying, I looked at myself and I realized I am selfish.
That's true. They were watching themselves, right? And how they were interacting with their partner or the other person.
Yeah, it's the same thing as when you watch yourself on a video. You get to pick up on the little things that you do.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. And I feel, I wish we could take videos of our lives and then sit down there and watch them and course correct on the things that we're doing wrong.
Right? Yeah, because that's the thing, though, that it takes some time. Well, actually, when you look at yourself. So if you have people that you can trust, because the mirror doesn't lie. If you have people in your life who you can trust, if you're vulnerable and open enough, it's good to get feedback on certain things that you do. Remember when they were playing those, like a mishmash of each person? Like, remember with April? It was like, April wants this, April needs this, April.
And now
she's
now conscious about that. The guy was like, what's his name there? He's like, I was dragged into this.
I didn't want to be here, but I was really dragged. I was dragged to this. Right? That it's a broken record of something that actually reflects on either the experience itself, because he was dragged, or that you're actually a selfish person, because with April, it was April. She was cute and fun, right? But Yeah,
I mean, she had a good character, and I like her honesty, and I like how she calls out bullshit. It's good.
When she said, I'm 23, I want to get married, and you know what?
Yeah, but she called out everybody. She wasn't afraid to call people out, which I liked.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't want to spoil it too much so that people can go and watch it. Do you have any final words?
I think, coming just from that show, the Ultimatum, what I learned was listen to your partner, right? Someone can keep on saying things for years and you don't actually listen to them. And it takes sometimes a catastrophic event, or like Ropa says, like a slap, for you to finally get what they've been trying to say to you for years. So listen to your partner, listen, and listen some more.
Yeah, listen to your partner, and always, be introspective. Mm-hmm. Look at yourself and figure out what you're doing wrong so that you can also learn. I find people get comfortable and relax around because you're with someone you don't. What I was saying is that don't get too comfortable. Always be introspective. Always be willing to learn. Be willing to improve your relationship, improve yourself as well, and at the same time, don't let yourself go, which kind of falls in don't get too comfortable. The way that this person met you and how you presented yourself should have been your true self, such that this person is not going to be caught unawares. And then you're now talking about ultimatums. So that's that.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's to serve you, right? And it was good to see the growth that happened in, especially those young couples, that sometimes you don't realize that the issue is you, right? It's always the other person. So
yeah, and it's always a situation where when a person sees themselves and they see that they're this person that they don't like, it's eye-opening to just think, oh my God, I am this person. I am this person. I'm selfish. I am, and yeah.
I don't listen.
I don't. And some of these kids are young. And I remember we were talking about it before, where we were like, you know what, the things that we used to do back in the day, we thought it was cute. But now when you look back at it, you can't get away with doing some of the things that you would do in your 20s. No. Because they're not cute anymore.
They're not cute anymore. So
right.
What I'm saying, to be introspective, constantly grow.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about growth. It's all about improving yourself. So anyway, ladies, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have yourself a great week, and we'll catch you later on A Sister's Back.
Bye.
Bye.